Good morning and Happy New Year. Today is Monday, January 6th. This is Wake Up with KERA News, and I'm Andrew Garcia. It's pretty good to be back. Thanks for joining us. An Arctic front hit DFW last night, and though we've got plenty of sunshine this morning, those frigid temperatures are here to stay. Today's highs will be in the 40s, the lower 40s that is, though with wind chill it'll feel a lot colder, so make sure to bundle up. Overnight we'll see lows in the mid-20s. You can find a list of warming centers in your community at WFAA.com. Flying taxis aren't just for fiction anymore. Arlington hopes to have them in the city by 2026, in time for the FIFA World Cup. We'll learn more after today's news. Denton ISD announced it will not be implementing a new state Bible-infused curriculum. The Texas State Board of Education approved Blue Bonnet learning textbooks in November, but critics worry it could exclude students and promote Christian nationalism. The district's curriculum team made the decision not to use the books after fielding concerns from the community. Arlington police are ramping up security for the Cotton Bowl Classic on Friday, following the terror attack in New Orleans on New Year's Day. They also added more security at AT&T Stadium for last night's Cowboys game. The department says it's a precaution for now, but guests going to the game should expect to see a heavier police presence from the parking lot to the stadium. Arlington's Mayor Jim Ross wants his city to be the first to step into the future with air taxis. He hopes to see them in the skies above Arlington in time for the FIFA World Cup in 2026. Experts say that it might be a stretch. From federal regulations to infrastructure, there's a lot that needs to be done. KERA's James Hartley has the story.
Back to the Future 2 predicted flying cars in 2015, but Arlington Mayor Jim Ross says 2026 is the real goal. With the FIFA World Cup hosting 9 matches in Arlington that summer, Ross wants to have taxis in the sky ready for visitors from around the world.
Can you imagine Arlington being the first city to have real-life Jetson stuff? The air taxi is coming to Arlington. eVTOL will be flying people by 2026.
eVTOL stands for Electronic Vertical Takeoff and Landing. It's the next generation of air mobility, like air taxis. They won't look like the most popular depictions in fiction, but the function is about the same. Experts told KERA News 2026 isn't an impossible goal for Arlington's flying taxis, but it's also not likely. Ernest Huffman is a project manager with the North Central Texas Council of Governments. He specializes in traffic congestion and aviation.
We want to demonstrate this new up-and-coming technology to that captive World Cup audience, not necessarily use it as a flying taxi transportation mode. Not by 26. I don't think we'll legally be able to do that, to be honest.
Huffman said he doesn't think Federal Aviation Administration regulations will be ready in time for that tournament. Flying taxis have been predicted for decades in science fiction and talked about more seriously in recent years, but new regulations for safety and pilot qualifications take time. Huffman doesn't think 2026 is long enough for all that to be finished, but Jinju Yu, a professor at UT Arlington, has worked with NCT-COG on research about air taxis. He believes all the infrastructure needed will be ready by then.
First of all, we need to have the infrastructure, right? So build those, we call it vertiports, basically similar to helipads.
Yu said that shouldn't be too hard. Vertiports, where flying taxis would park and charge, would be a little more involved. They'll typically be 2 or 3 stories high at airports and downtown areas. Ross is confident those vertiports and vertipods will be ready in time for the World Cup games, even if others in the region aren't so sure. His hope is that visitors will be able to fly into an airport in the region, then hop on another aircraft to get into Arlington.
Theoretically, when it's all done, and we expect it to be done in time for the World Cup in 2026, that you can be flying these air taxis right into the entertainment district.
But ready for the World Cup or not, Yu said it'll probably be cost prohibitive.
I think right now what we're looking at is, in terms of passenger per mile, the range is pretty wide. So from probably about $4 per passenger mile to probably 11.
Huffman said cost and infrastructure might be ready by 2026, but NCT COG's goal is to show off what it can do during the World Cup.
We're not looking to have flying taxis as a viable transportation mode for the World Cup games. All we're looking to do is demonstrate the technology for the World Cup games.
It's not clear if Arlington's expected partner Overair will have approval from the FAA for its air taxis in time. Overair did not respond to KERA requests for interview. For KERA News, I'm James Hartley in Arlington.
The Dallas Cowboys ended their season with a loss to the Washington Commanders last night. The final score was 23-19. They'll now look to the offseason, trying to improve their team in the draft and free agency, and potentially, as many people are speculating, looking for a new head coach. We'll see how that plays out in the coming weeks. The Mavericks will be away this evening playing the Memphis Grizzlies. Today is your last chance to see the Shed Some Light exhibit at the Jeanette Kennedy Gallery in South Dallas. Julie Shunick-Brown explores overcoming challenges in this work, spotlighting themes of hope and resilience. For more information and other things to do, visit kera.org/calendar. Thanks so much for listening to Wake Up with KERA News. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. The show is produced and edited by Shardae White and Bekah Morr. For more news in your inbox, you can visit kera.org/wakeup. You can subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA News newsletter there. It's written by our colleague, Catherine Hobbs. You can also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at KERATX. Stay warm, and we'll see you tomorrow.